Thank you very much for coming. Welcome. This is an exquisite new Whole Foods Santa Barbara store. I think that we're all blessed to have Whole Foods. This is, I think, one of the prettiest stores that I've seen. So I'm delighted to be here, and I appreciate all of you coming. My name is Dr. Julia Tatum Hunter, and my holistic, W-H-O-L, holistic dermatology practice is Skin Fitness Plus, and we're located in Beverly Hills. I invite you to go to my website, skinfitnessplus.com. What you need to do for health and beauty on the website, and to give people access in places where sadly they don't have a Whole Foods, but hopefully one is coming soon, on how do you achieve health and beauty, on supplements, on skin products that are non-toxic, hormones, diet, exercise, curing your acne, your psoriasis, your eczema, your rashes. What we try to teach you is the side effect of creating beauty being creating health. Very important. The first thing I'm going to answer is the question that everybody asks me when I do these walks for health and beauty through the grocery store at Whole Foods is, what does dermatology have to do with health and supplements and hormones? What does what I eat and drink have to do with beauty? Skin is the largest organ of the body, and all the organs of the body have to work together like an orchestra. So if one organ, if one instrument is out of whack, the whole body, all the organs, the entire orchestra doesn't sound right. The body doesn't work well if one organ is out of whack. It's also a window to what is going on the inside. Skin is a window to what's going on the inside, and it's a mirror to how you've treated yourself, both internally and externally, from the time you were born. And in men and women. We're going to talk about men, solutions for men as well as for women today. So remember that rashes, acne, eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, brown spots, skin tags, skin cancers, rosacea, lines, aging, skin sliding down our bodies as we get older, which none of us like to discuss, but we all have, sadly. All of that results from what's going on internally. This is why I'm focused on teaching prevention. It's the key to health and beauty. It's worth a ton. It's worth a lifetime of cure. Prevention starts, and it's the foundation of health and beauty. You are what you eat and put in your mouth and on your body. Nutrition, which includes supplements, and we're going to go over the whole body, and we're going to talk about, do you really need supplements? Which ones do you need? How much do you need? And why do you need them? If you don't give the body good construction materials, you're going to build a really bad house. Not healthy, not so beautiful. Then anything you spend your precious time and money on for health and beauty at best will work 30 to 50%. This is why achieving health and beauty, and ultimately more happiness, which is what we all look for, starts in the grocery store. And Whole Foods clearly understands that, and we're very lucky that they make it really easy for us. I am a holistic dermatologist because in order to cure your rashes, your acne, your eczema, your psoriasis, to restore, to rejuvenate, to slow down the ticking of the clock, and most importantly, to prevent, I have to address the body as a whole. Because if I don't look at all the organs in the orchestra, I just end up treating your symptoms in perpetuity. And I can make them go away for a little while, and then they come back. I am all about curing people and not just treating the symptoms. And that's why dermatology is inseparable from diet, from exercise, from hormones, from your gastrointestinal tract, from stem to stern. Health and beauty are inseparable. Without health, there is no beauty, and from health comes beauty. And also from health comes feeling good, having a great brain, and ultimately, hopefully, greater happiness. Health and beauty begins with prevention. The earlier the better, which is why I'm trying to reach the young, the lovely young people, parents, grandparents, everybody. But the good news is that no matter how old you are or how young you are, as long as your heart is beating, you can quickly achieve health and beauty. Young at any age, young at every age, and let's get started with prevention, and that is our walk for health and beauty through the grocery store. The foundation of what you put in your body should be green, green, and more green. Now, one of the things I find that as we do these walks for health and beauty is that people don't really know what a lot of these things are and don't quite know what to do with them. So I also happen to be a good cook. So I always sort of give people some little recipes. The darker the fruits and vegetables, the better. And the reason is because we all get overpopulated with fungus as we go through life. Bacteria, viruses, and fungus are hitting our bodies 24/7. We eat it, we breathe it, you can't get away with it. So everybody who's busy, trying to avoid germs, what they need to understand is you need to spend your money on keeping your immune system healthy rather than being afraid of germs. And so it starts with what you eat. Basically, dandelion greens, purple, Swiss chard, purple, the kale. Notice how dark kale is. Kale is one of the most nutritious things that you can put in your body. What do you do with those things, okay? What do you do with kale? Well, you can chop it up, you can saute it with garlic. Garlic kills everything. Purple cabbage, incredibly antifungal, really good for you. Include your herbs, full of vitamins, full of minerals, very antifungal. Fungus is one of the biggest problems we have nowadays. People come to me with fungal rashes. Most of the rashes that I see that people suffer from are fungus. Fungus, we get overpopulated. It normally lives in our gut. We get overpopulated with it, drags down our thyroid. There's an epidemic of hypothyroidism in the world today. One of the recipes that I give my patients is we should all eat as many days as possible a handful of purple cabbage, a handful of raw cranberries, and remember, with fruits, not only should they be dark, but the healthier ones are tart, because the more tart things are, the less sweet they are, you're not feeding the fungus. Tart is better because when you have a bunch of sugar circulating in your body, the body tries to get rid of it. It binds to proteins and it causes wrinkling, and you can't get rid of that. So again, prevention is worth a ton of cure. Beets, you say to me, those are sweet, but beets are really dark and they're one of the most antifungal things there are. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, these are things, a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts, but there are a lot of ways that you can do those things where you can bake them with olive oil, good for you. You can put herbs on them like oregano. Look, even if you're at work, you can take some Brussels sprouts, and even though there's controversy about the microwave, look, sometimes we've got to be practical, and you can put some broth on them, you can put a little olive oil on them, cook them in the microwave. It's a much better lunch. You can eat these things raw, you can chop them up and include them in salads. You can saute these things. You don't have to cook them that much. You can even bake them, okay? But you just need to include these as much as possible. Onions, garlic, and fresh ginger kill everything. I tell my patients when they start to get flu, if you take a clove of garlic and just chew one clove. Now, it's hot, it burns, and it burns as it goes down, but garlic kills everything. Fresh ginger kills everything. You can take, if you can't put the clove in your mouth and kill it, then you can make a little garlic tea or make some garlic and ginger tea. It is incredibly antiviral, more antiviral than virtually anything that you can do. Just remember, you can't cook them to death, because why are these things good for you? They have not only vitamins and minerals, but they have enzymes in them, and all those enzymes are what help you digest your food. Because remember, as we get older, the hydrochloric acid in our stomach goes down. All these foods, when you eat them more fresh and raw versus packaged, they've got all the live enzymes in them. Enzymes, very, very important. Avocados, really good for your skin. They have healthy fat. People who have full-blown full-blown food allergies like gluten, we're going to talk about that as we go through the bread section. They generally have symptoms, eczema, psoriasis. A lot of curing constipation starts with green, green, and more green. Whole Foods makes it really easy for us over here with all these packaged, already ready to go vegetables and salad greens, etc. Arugula, really good for you. The more tart the apples are, the better for you. If you've got acne, sweet feeds acne. You know, you give people motivation, and knowledge is power, basically. Cranberries, really good for you. Very antifungal. Pomegranates, really good for you. Blueberries, raspberries, dark cherries. The darker things are, the better. The less sweet, the better. So go for tart, and then mix a little bit of sweet in there. Hot things help lower your cholesterol. I hope everybody knows, because this is a great substitute for spaghetti, because children love spaghetti, okay? Well, what happens, there are a lot of foods that we eat that go right to sugar in the body, and what does the body do? It takes the sugar to fat. But spaghetti squash, if you're not aware of this, spaghetti squash, basically, you can just puncture it with one little knife thing so that the steam can release because they can't explode. And you bake that for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. You want it to get soft. You cut it long ways, you open it up, you scrape it, and it's like spaghetti. You can put herbs in there. So it's a great thing to make your children where they think they're getting spaghetti, but it's just a different kind. We don't need to be struggling with fat in this country. You can eat, you cannot be hungry, you cannot deprive yourself if you just know how to do it. Carbs are something that we're all addicted to. Carbs go right, the body takes it right to sugar, takes it right to fat. So what are some things that we can replace it with? Nuts. Almonds, raw almonds are really good for most people. Now some people have allergies to them, but a much better choice, raw almonds, raw walnuts, raw pecans. But let's talk about protein. A really good complete source of protein, really good for your body, really good for your skin, is black beans on a bed of wild rice or quinoa. Wild rice is protein. It's not a grain. Quinoa is a grain, but it's a very primitive grain, and even in people who have gluten issues, quinoa is, they generally do well with quinoa. So, and then you put some greens in there like kale, that is a huge source of protein. Salmon is a good choice. The skin, which is why you should always cook things with the skin on. The skin is really where all the omegas are. But seafood, a good source of protein. This is a huge issue, is dairy. The first thing I will tell you is that a lot of people are allergic to cow's milk. If you have acne or oily skin, you should not drink cow's milk. But almond milk, unsweetened, is a very good alternative. Coconut milk, some people are allergic to it, but raw coconut milk is a good alternative. And I tell people, look, find a mixture. Buy a couple of the things and find a mixture that is really yummy for you. Mix some almond, mix some hemp, mix some, they have all those milks. Goat milk, and there's a reason that goat milk is usually what you give babies that have a lot of allergies. And the reason is virtually nobody is allergic to the protein in goat milk. There's a certain amount of fat that's good, but dairy fat is less good than olive oil, walnut oil, hazelnut oil. There's even green tea oil now. Some Whole Foods have green tea oil, some don't, but green tea oil, really good oil, full of antioxidants, and it's also a great oil to stir fry with. The reason we are all struggling with our weight in this country is because of the hidden sweets. So again, learn to read everything that's in and on that you put in and on your body. Water, water, and more water for your skin, for your body. Your body is mostly water. All those enzymes, your cells, when you don't drink enough water, everything dehydrates and nothing works very well, including your immune system. All right. Sorry. All right, we're coming over here to the meat. It has a lot of certain chemicals that our body uses that speeds up our metabolism. What are the best choices? Again, let's go back to everything in moderation. Wild game is much better than non-wild. Why? Because it's lower in fat. Then turkey, really good for you. We've already talked about how fish is a good low fat, full of some good oils, omega-3s that are really good for your skin, very anti-inflammatory. So fish really good for you. But in the order of meat, it is, first comes turkey, then comes chicken skinless, then comes lamb, then comes pork, and then comes beef. Wild game is at the top of the meat that you should eat. We're going over to the prepared things. Seaweed salad that you find in the sushi section is one of the best things that you can put in your mouth. Kelp, why? It's full of iodine. Iodine is essential for your immune system to function, and iodine is essential for your thyroid to function. I told you that there's an epidemic of hypothyroid in the world. Whole Foods has made it easy. You've got all these things that are really easy for you to eat. You've got your Brussels sprouts. Over here you've got all your vegetables. You've got black beans. You've got all the things that are really easy for you to come in. So the other thing is, let's talk about the grains for a second. If you notice over here, and Whole Foods recently did this, they started adding grains. Now, the black rice is better, obviously, just use it as a rule. The darker everything is, the better it is for you. And so if you've got diabetes, if you've got any issues you want to avoid, but yet you don't want to be deprived. So quinoa, a really good choice. Quinoa is easy to cook. You can put chicken broth over it. You can pour wine in there. You can pour water in there. Whatever, put some onions in there, put some garlic in there, put some tomatoes in there. It cooks in a flash. It's not something that has to cook forever. Easy to cook. But you've also got it sitting right here. Much better choice. If you have gluten problems, you can virtually always eat quinoa. You can generally eat black rice. And that's something good that you can take to lunch or you can serve your family. Sprouted breads are better. Sprouted grains, your body treats like protein. Sprouted grains, your body treats like protein. But there's plenty of other options. There's flax, there's hemp, full of protein, really good for you. And then sprouted, better choices. They have a pumpkin seed, cilantro, olive oil dip. Pumpkin seed, really good for men's prostates so they don't get enlarged. Pumpkin seed is also very good for people who have cholesterol issues. What they found is increasingly, virtually everybody has heavy metal issues in today's world. If we've got aluminum and lead and even arsenic comes from water in some areas and pipes, cilantro is one of the best things that you can do. Green, and more green chelates those things. Kale, the darker green, cilantro, parsley. So include parsley in a lot of things. The green juices, chlorella, chlorophyll, those are the things that chelate, that pull those heavy metals off of us. Because why do we care about heavy metals? Because it poisons our immune system, and it makes our skin wrinkle because we don't make good collagen as a result. So if you want sweet, what are better choices? Better choices are dark chocolate. The other thing I encourage people is raw cacao. Raw cacao, which Whole Foods has, is very antifungal. And raw cacao you can put in your coffee, you can put it over your fruit. You think you're eating chocolate, okay, but you don't have the sweet. But dark chocolate, raw cacao, and raw dates. So the higher the percentage of cacao, 72, 80s, when you get up into that, they're not as sweet. They can't add as much sweet. It's all that raw cacao. And raw cacao is a great antioxidant. And what is the cause of all disease and aging is inflammation. Inflammation is the egg, the chicken that lays that egg is what you eat, sunlight, stress, but more than anything is what you eat, which is why we do a walk for health and beauty through the grocery store. Let's talk about wine. And you notice that I chose the red wine section to come to. Life is meant to be lived, and it's not about deprivation. I give a sheet to my patients about how to drink most healthily, because if you drink, I'm going to tell you how to drink where it's best for your skin and best for your health. Number one is red wine is a much better choice. Why? We're all reading about resveratrol. It is full of antioxidants, but remember that it is also, the body takes alcohol to sugar, sugar goes to fat. So you're drinking your dessert. Again, the scales of justice. It's not that you can't do it, it's everything in moderation. If you're going to drink white wine, then drink the drier white wines. If you're going to drink red wines, the drier red wines are the better choice, which is your Cabernets, your Syrahs, Pinots. When we reach out for the organic wines, for the unfiltered wines, those are much better for us. Liquors. Here's the order of what's good for you or less bad for you. Tequila's the best choice. After tequila, because what does it come from? Cactus. So tequila's a better choice. Then comes scotch. Now scotch comes from grains, so some people have allergies to scotch. Vodka is made from potatoes and grains, but there are gluten-free vodkas now. There's one that comes from Texas, and bourbon has a lot of sugar in it. We all have different metabolism. Some people, the least little thing, there are some people who can look at food and gain weight. So there are things that those people have to exercise more. Those people have to, although exercise will not necessarily do it, those people have to avoid nuts and carbs and oils as much as possible. But there have to be healthy oils that you have to incorporate, because remember that cholesterol, and in the vein of good and bad cholesterol, every cell membrane, every hormone in your body comes from cholesterol. So there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol. Omega-3s, olive oil are better oils, better cholesterols. Spices. Cinnamon, for instance, lowers your blood sugar. Turmeric, full of antioxidants. Turmeric's in curry. That's why it's good for you to eat curried things. Spicy things. Those things are full of antioxidants. Inflammation, cause of all disease and aging. Inflammation is negated by antioxidants. You're eating your antioxidants. The first thing I'm going to give you is a little lesson on ingredients to avoid. The beauty of this fabulous soap right here is there are no sodium lauryl sulfates in it. So you don't want to be using the Doves and the Dials. You want to force the industry to start taking out the chemicals that are inflammatory when they go onto your skin, because remember, all those inflammatory chemicals absorb into your body. So if you've got rosacea, it contributes to that. A lot of these things accumulate in your body. A lot of these inflammatory chemicals disrupt your hormones. One of the things that I'm noticing in my practice is that younger people are aging faster. Now, we speculate because there's much more inflammation as a cause of all the things that they're exposed to. So start out by using soaps that don't have any sodium lauryl sulfates. Start out by using shampoos and conditioners that don't have any sodium lauryl sulfates. And here's some of the other big offenders. And if you go on my website, skinfitnessplus.com, you will also get a list of ingredients to avoid that I give out to my patients. Those are things that either stop up your pores, disrupt your hormones, or cause more aging and disease because of inflammation. You want to wear sunblocks. A lot of times you see melanomas in young people because their parents let them get really sunburned. Let's talk about skin products. Oil prevents skin products from penetrating. If you've got a good cleanser that doesn't have the bad ingredients in there, it's not stripping the pH balance off your skin, so you can use it twice a day if you need to. Thinner skin is usually where you have to have the gentle cleansers. Thicker skin is where you generally have to use cleansers that are more for oily skin, but sometimes, because your skin's not really that oily, you generally can use the gentle cleansers, but you are more likely to have to use them twice a day. Toner was originally developed to reestablish the acid pH on your skin that these bad chemicals in the soaps had stripped off. Okay, why do you have that acid layer on your skin? And why is it important to maintain that? That acid layer on your skin is what keeps the bacteria, virus, and fungus, in particular the flesh-eating staph and streps, from, when it lands on our skin, from attaching. The acidity kills the bacteria, viruses, and fungus. So it's very important not to strip that layer off. If you have oily skin, you probably don't need a moisturizer. Around your eyes and your neck and your chest is thinner skin, doesn't have as many oil-producing glands there. Sometimes you have to put things around that if you really don't have really oily skin. But just because you've been taught to believe that everybody needs moisturizer, if your skin doesn't feel dry, you probably don't need moisturizer. Moisture generally comes from within. So if your skin is really dry, maybe your thyroid is low, and all that impacts the skin. That's why the skin is a window to what's going on the inside. So DHEA also makes your immune system work well, and it's also very anti-aging and very anti-stress. That's generally the first hormone that goes down. Your hormones start plummeting about 28 to 30 years old. The second hormone that goes down is progesterone. That's when your breasts get tender when you have your period, when you get bad PMS, your progesterone is headed downwards. Progesterone is nature's tranquilizer. It makes us smile, it makes us happy, it makes us even keel. The problem as you get older is estradiol converts to the bad estrogen, estrone, and so what helps keep that from happening? Iodine, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. Men go through menopause too, and their testosterone plummets. That's when you see men start to get a stomach. Men get irritable and anxious as they get older. It's because their testosterone is decreasing. You see younger men nowadays that have low testosterone. And why do young people have juicy skin? It's because they've got hormones. They're making hyaluronic acid. And even if they're dehydrated, if they haven't drunk water for 3 days and lived in the desert, their skin still looks juicier than those of us whose hormones have plummeted. Serums generally have vitamins, they have minerals. You hear a lot about peptides now. All those things basically stimulate skin cells to work at a more youthful level. Retinols. What do retinols do? They penetrate more deeply. They're the only skin product that will penetrate down into the dermis, which is deeper in the skin. That's where all the action is really. The epidermis is when people say to you, oh, you have pretty skin. That's the epidermis. When you have this clarity, that's the epidermis. That's exfoliation. And so we're going to talk about exfoliation for a second, but the dermis is what keeps the skin from sliding down your body as we get older. Exfoliation. Normally Whole Foods has these, and they've got other forms of exfoliation, but I'm a big fan of those long exfoliating cloths to use from your collarbones down. Why? Because you've got to exfoliate. Skin is skin. The skin of the body is just tougher, basically. It doesn't turn over. It doesn't make new skin as quickly, but you need to exfoliate it. We all grow these gnarly growths, these ugly, gnarly growths as we get older. And one of the first things you do is exfoliate. Helping to prevent skin cancers, exfoliate. When you have these abnormal cells, which we make all the time, and they consolidate, because they have time to sit there because you're not exfoliating, then you want to exfoliate those. What also helps them exfoliate internally is to keep your body functioning at a youthful level, which is you are what you eat. So, exfoliation. What do we do on the surface of the skin? Chemical exfoliants are better. Remember that makeups can have really bad ingredients in them, and what sits on your skin longer than anything with women generally is makeup. Let's talk about what are the most important things as far as supplements. What do you need? What do you not need? I encourage everybody to take probiotics. What I tell people is green, green, and more green. If you can't eat enough green, then take some green powder, take some green pills. We can't get enough antioxidants to thwart all the inflammation that we're presented with. Alpha-lipoic acid is a supplement. It's a master antioxidant. It slows down the ticking of the clock. And what's the dose? 600 milligrams. Ideally twice a day if you're over 35 years old. It also helps to burn fat. It helps regulate your blood sugar. Vitamin C is very important in collagen production. Vitamin C, very important. So take it internally, put it on the surface of your skin. Vitamin D. Vitamin D, very anti-cancer, very anti-skin cancer. Children now, there's recommendations, even babies don't have enough vitamin D. The darker your skin, okay, the more pigmented your skin, the more vitamin D you need. And even people who are out in the sun all the time, they're not making vitamin D. I see some of my sun worshipers who have really low vitamin D levels. There are other things that are good for your skin. B vitamins, because what you need and what I need are two entirely different things. Different body types, different genetic backgrounds. What you need is different for different people. Lysine, great antiviral, great for fever blisters. Remember, sourcing is everything. You have to be careful about the herbs that you get now. A lot of things are tainted with heavy metals. The sourcing of vitamins, they've screened so that you want to take vitamins that the manufacturer, every batch of raw materials that comes in, they've screened it to make sure it doesn't have any contaminants in it. Plus, everything's here. Their philosophy is to promote health. They try to give you variety because it's not their job to tell you what not to do, but it's their job to give you a better choice and a healthier choice. So that's why I do walks for health and beauty through the grocery store at Whole Foods. It's all here. Better choices, better quality. They pre-screened it for me. Y'all have been a lovely audience.